Hey, what's going on, guys? Pineapple Sway here. Today I'm going to be talking about the best skill trees in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. This is another video that I haven't made. I've made like skill trees for like specific characters like Harley and then good old Joker, but I'm just going to be talking about all the characters today. Just because, I don't feel like making a video for each individual character. But before I get started, just wanted to say, please consider liking and subscribing as it helps me out tremendously. And also too, thank you to the channel members, Javerd, Clint, Fortune, Stretch, Stixie, Unknown Name, Lance Fox, 23, Tammy, The Collector of Worlds, Andrew Brown, and then Reed. You guys have done some tremendous things as channel members, and you guys have helped me out a ton. But let's talk about what we want to talk about today. And this video is probably going to upload around 5 p.m. since a lot of you guys did vote on the poll that I should start uploading around 5 p.m. So I'm going to do that. But let's go over to the talent trees. And first, let's talk about the Joker. The Joker's probably the best character in the game, just in terms of like overall base talent trees. Because talent trees, you want to build off what a character's good at. So for myself, the Joker is really good at burn damage and grenade damage. So that's kind of what you want to go for when you're using him and when you're putting, these skill trees into him. And, starting with like his first, if we just go down the line here, I have grenade damage, grenade explosion radius. Here, I like to use the shotguns for Joker because honestly, this one's pretty good too. Critical hits with assault rifles have a 35% chance to not consume ammo. It's either these two that you want to use, but I like the shotguns that burn enemies. Then the grenades, critical counters will spawn, will spawn grenade ammo. That's really, really good. If you can have a skill tree that gives you grenade ammo, that's incredible. Increases the number of grenades you carry. If any character has this skill in this game, you're going to want to take that 100%. And then here, grenade hits cause enemies to deal 25% less damage. Kind of useless, but you have no choice. You have to take that skill. And then these, the best one, in all honesty, is probably this one. Successful counters increase the damage of your next grenade by 100%. Or even this one, damage dealt is increased by 50% against burning enemies. I'd probably go this one since it's burning. I just have this one because I do like critical hit and critical hit chance. Because you can get some pretty good critical hit damage numbers. Then this one just increases your explosion radius by an additional 50%. Like I remember when Joker first came out, there was a glitch where I think this skill tree stacked infinitely, so you could just nuke the map and it would crash the game. I didn't do it, but I know someone in my clan did try it. Then what else? There's this one. This one's kind of whatever. I like this one. Firearm damage is increased by by 50% from enemies further than 15 meters. And then lastly, top banana, you get 75% chance, or increases your firearm damage by 75% chance and causes critical hits to burn enemies. That's an incredible skill. And these other skills are just kind of whatever, in all honesty. Next is the second skill tree, which these skill trees are just kind of like the second one, since it's based off like shield and stuff and survivability. But the main one we really want to talk about is, if I can find it, this one. Increases your grenade damage by 100%, and causes enemies hit by a grenade to burn all enemies within 5 meters on death, which is that final skill there. That's really all you need for this second slot. And then the third slot, it's kind of the same thing. You just want to go for the stuff that burns enemies. And, being airborne for 5 seconds causes your next grenade to burn, so on and so forth. Just stuff that burns, because that's what Joker's main skill is burning. Next is Deathstroke. Deathstroke is kind of like a do-it-all character. So for him, you really just want to pick stuff, I feel, that is like what you do. Since he can do everything, like I don't know what they were thinking when they made him. But here we have the +2 grenade ammo. Here we have your sniper damage. It spreads to 35% of the damage to the enemy's hit. Then we have this one, critical hit damage. Then we have grenade hits cause bleed, which is really good. so on and so forth. More bleed damage, since bleed damage is pretty good. And here we have firearm hit damage for a maximum of 200. And then counters spawn live grenades, also very, very good. And then this skill where we get 100% damage dealt and then 50% damage reduction. Although I will say this one is probably better. 150% firearm damage and then firearms damage through shields and armor. Honestly, an incredible skill and very overpowered. Since they had to release weapons that, you know, had that skill built in, Deathstroke can just do it just for, you know, being Deathstroke. Here, this one I have melee damage, although I don't even know what these are. Yeah, oh yeah, melee damage and then bleed damage 100% over time, since Deathstroke is one of the only few characters in the game that can have a successful melee build. Here we have damage dealt is increased by 150% against bleeding enemies, and we have this skill right here. So Deathstroke can do a lot of bleed damage. Here we have, you know, more melee damage. So, like what I said, Deathstroke, one of the few characters that can really, you know, do a melee build, like a live wire melee build, because here, you know, shield harvesting an electrified enemy spawns a live grenade, and then here, when you get downed, you automatically revive yourself. I know, like, lore-wise, they made Deathstroke overpowered because he was collecting all the Brainiac's tech and stuff, but it's just hilarious just how overpowered they made this guy, especially for the final season. And then on these skills, it's like, these skills are kind of just like, pick whatever you want. This is probably the best one because it's based off your ultimate, so pick this one. It gives you infinite firearm ammo, firearm damage, and it spawns unlimited grenades. Next is Deadshot. Deadshot is also pretty simple. His skills aren't like incredible. He probably has like the weakest skill tree, but he's just balanced all around. He's not really good in one particular skill. Everything you want for Deadshot is just going to be critical hit chance, and then obviously, you know, grenades, critical hit chance, and then critical damage. But as you can see, like, I have shield harvest chance, firearm hit, critical hit, then critical hits cause bleed for 100% of the damage dealt, so that's also really good. And then this one gives me 100% firearm damage and 100% critical hit chance. This one's also alright, but you're going to want to go with the firearm damage. And then this one, you can just do a bunch of damage reduction skills, and then right here, Deadly Assassin, you get an additional 150% firearm damage. So he's really good when it comes to just like overall damage, and like what I said, he's very balanced, probably the most balanced character in the game. And then this one, melee hits and critical hit kills have a 100% chance to cause the enemy to explode and deal 25% of their maximum health as damage to enemies within 10 meters. That's a really good skill to have for Deadshot. Then I just have damage reduction, although melee damage for Deadshot probably will be the better bet. And then here, I don't like suicide strikes. You can use this, but I don't like them. I'm just going with the shield overcharge and firearm damage. And then lastly, for his ultimate, grenade damage and then fuel dump damage. And the fuel dump, in case you guys don't know, is his traversal. So now moving on to Harley, which I've made a video about Harley before. For the pink tree, you're going to want to pick the ballerina, as it gives you 75% firearm damage. But we're really concerned though is the grenade damage, and that's what Harley can do, is just grenades. And that's really all you're going to want to do with grenades. She's really good at using grenades. As you see here, she gets +1 grenade ammo and 20% grenade explosion radius. The best tree here, I like to use the pistols because of the bleed, but the truly best one, the best one is this one with the heavy weapons, because it spreads the damage to enemies, and that's really good. And then here, Harley can regenerate 1% health, 1% shield off each enemy killed. And then grenade hits have a 25% chance to spawn an additional live grenade, so that stacks. You rarely see it happen, but when it does happen, it's really, really good. It's a good skill for Harley, in all honesty. Then this is kind of like pick your poison. I rarely do shield harvest. They're both good skills. I like this one. Enemies hit by a grenade takes 20% more damage for 10 seconds, but this one is just as good, if not better. And then This one also, like I'll go to say, I'm not a fan of Suicide Strike, so I use this one. 300% of the damage from the last 3 pistol hits are added to your next melee hit. And then I already mentioned this skill. These skills are just whatever. So yeah. Then here you're just going to want to move down like the tree of, she can get damage reduction. Although this one's pretty good too. Performing a shield harvest generates grapple attack traversal, but you barely use her traversal attack and it really doesn't do much. So you're just going to want to go down the trees of just damage reduction, and then she can get damage dealt while moving. And then here she has a 5% chance to cheat death and instantly regenerate 100% health and 25% shield. And then this one, I went with the grenade damage because you get 100% grenade damage, although can do melee, but Harley's not good at melee, believe me on that. And then here for her ultimate, you're just going to want to pick this one because it regenerates her health and shield, although you can go this route, but getting 100% shield and 200% shield off your ultimate is really one of the best skills you can have in the game. King Shark, I don't really play much King Shark. For him, I honestly feel he's good at nothing. So really don't listen to me to what I say here about King Shark. I just went with damage and Suicide Strike generation because he's built to Suicide Strike, but Suicide Striking is one of the most useless mechanics in this game. You're just not going to do any damage, especially at high mastery. And, you can't Suicide Strike a boss. So, whatever you guys feel is best for King Shark, go with that. Don't listen to me. Next is Captain Boomerang. Boomerang is just another character that's just pure damage as well. Probably use this one to get the shield harvest chance for Boomerang. And then here we have 15% damage for your next firearm magazine. I think this is probably the best one. And for him, you like what I said, you should probably use this one. Shotgun kills on enemies within 10 meters have a 25% chance to spawn a live grenade. That's really good. But for him, I just went down like the route of just damage, since Boomerang, believe it or not, Boomerang has no damage cap, and you guys are probably confused, like what does that mean? Characters have damage caps, so like they can only hit a certain number of damage. Boomerang doesn't have a cap for some reason, so Boomerang can hit like 99999, or like in theory he could hit infinite damage, which I think has been done before in Season 0. When people use the Bizarro Undeath Ray. But yeah, for Boomerang you're just going to want to take each damage tree that increases his damage, and then obviously for his like traversal tree you're just going to want to do stuff that increases your or gives you your speedster resource and then like increases it so you can just run a little bit longer. And then same thing here, like his traversal actually is pretty good, but it's not great. And then Freeze, same thing. I don't really play much Freeze. She does have decent skill trees, but she's really only useful in Season 2, I feel. But you can get some pretty good skill trees like this one. Critical hits have a 100% chance to make the enemy explode. That's very good. And then firearm damage here. And then firearm damage, and then freezes all enemies. Although freezing is just not a good affliction in this game. So I feel like it kind of holds her back, because that's really her whole kit, is just freezing enemies. So yeah, I don't think she has like anything good. Yeah, Freeze is just kind of a useless character. If you use Miss Freeze, I'm really sorry. Although she does do nice damage and she can be useful, but only useful in Season 2. And then lastly is Lawless, and I will show my squad talents as well, but I'm also level 2000, and I doubt many people are level 2000. Lawless is really a live wire build, so if you want to use Lawless effectively, you're going to want to use the live wire affliction. So like here, critical kills have a 35% chance to spawn a live grenade, and then so on and so forth. Like I have firearm damage. This one, critical hits spread 50% of the damage. This is grenade hits cause enemies to take 40% more damage. And then this one, 125% firearm damage, electrify all enemies. And then here, damage dealt. And then for her traversal, critical hit damage, electrifies all enemies. So you have a pretty nice combo of firearm and critical hit damage. She's very similar to Deadshot and they're just balanced all around. But I would rather go with Deadshot because I'm not a fan of Lawless's traversal, and I think a lot of people could agree with that Lawless's traversal is just very lackluster compared to Deadshot. And then here's all my squad skills. It's kind of all over the place, but you're just going to want to go with experience boost, experience, and then, experience, and then just damage. As you see, I don't have any points in the frozen enemies because it's just freeze sucks. The most important stuff you want to get is get the infusions, like infusions to Green Lantern and Batman infused enemies, and then like Flash infused enemies, since that will help you a ton and cause you to do a lot of damage, since in higher masteries almost every enemy is practically infused. Anyways, so I hope you guys enjoy this video of the best talent or skill trees to use in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Anyways, this is Pineapple Sway. I can't believe that this is a 16-minute video, but peace out.